Okay, we are recording.
Okay.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Get back to the top of this. Go open the note. No.
Well, I can start. I can pitch my idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
So obviously I'm not sure I fully misinterpreted what the assignment was. I think I looked at it as more like, in reality, to come up with 3 unique ideas in one sitting is, it's like, really? If I could do
I read that.
Genius,
Right. I read that and I thought, he's right. We did already come up with 9 different ideas. And now we have to come up with 3 more that already don't exist. Like,
right. That's a lot.
I know, and I read that after. I was like, wow, that was smart. I wish I would have thought of that and then only came up with 1 idea.
Well, and yeah, well, so anyway, so Dr. Cassell, he recognized what I was saying, and he said that, he said what I did was okay. So he let me get away with it because I used.
Makes me wonder if he let Jessica get away with it. Well, I mean, because she had the 1 idea as well.
Yeah, I think I did mine a little bit differently than she did.
Yeah.
Using just the 1 idea. But anyway, so let me tell you about my idea. So this is something.
Go ahead.
I'm in the technology business, right? So I sell solutions, automation solutions to contact centers now. And so this is something that I know is a problem because I'm out there talking to people in the industry, and we're trying to put together ideas. And this is a really hard idea because they do run on 2 separate systems. So the whole idea is to create a platform that allows a company to track how people interact with them on the phone, as well as on like chat and stuff. You've probably been on websites where you do chat or on your phone, SMS. So this is basically a software platform.
Gotcha.
And I think that it does represent the different types of thinking that we're talking about. Oops, why can't I find what I wrote? Let me go back here. Okay, sorry. So, it does take, for integration, it takes 2 completely opposing ideas, right? One is purely phone and one is purely digital. So it creates that immediate either or type of scenario. And so my approach is I step back, I try to eliminate the stress of the opposing viewpoints and said, okay, well, why not create a single one that incorporates the best from both and then eliminate the things that the cons essentially.
Right.
So that's where integration comes in. And then conceptual blending is, with the word knowledge connect, it does kind of create conjures up these 2 ideas, right? One that there's knowledge that could be gained from both. And then just by having a name like that, it means that it's not connected, right? So you've got this one viewpoint that there's knowledge from both channels to be garnered, but there's clearly this vision that it's not happening today, but you could see a benefit. And the blended concept is that, with this new solution, that you would connect them and then see the, or get the knowledge from both. And then the transfer is that, I'm applying what I know from, doing it for each channel disparately and bringing them together in a new context by saying, this is reporting now that's going to, combine them. And I know how to do it from the 2 separately. So it's a pretty simple transfer. I would say it's a low road transfer.
Right.
So that's it. That's my idea. I mean, it's boring as
Okay.
hell, but
No, but it's what you know. And that's what took me so long too, is I literally sat there to stare at the computer. I was like, what skill sets do I have that I know that I could use, or what did I have a problem with here? Like I was trying to think about like pregnancy, for example. When I was pregnant, what problems did I have that I could come up with a solution? And that didn't work because obviously I didn't choose anything pregnancy related. But
yeah.
okay, so my integration one was more based on sustainability. So it was like, wait, before I proceed, should I just present all three of mine since we're only working off of 4-ish ideas?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so for integration, I chose like sustainability, and it was like more like how a lot of people want to integrate small ideas, but they don't exactly know how, or they don't know how to, they don't understand it at a personal level. Because, you know, there's a whole big thing, and I think a lot of this is based on like my Starbucks experience, because everybody wants to complain about like the plastic straws or the plastic cups.
Yep.
And they talk about getting reusable straws and etc., but then it kind of just dies off, and I think people just don't understand it. So it was kind of coming up with an app that that you input, you answer like some survey questions and whatnot in the beginning, and it can like connect to your bank account, so it can see where you spend your money. For example, when you swipe your card at Starbucks, it can see that, and then it could kind of suggest ideas that you can do personally to reduce your environmental impact. And then, you know, little things add up over time. So if it was an app that got like, you know, millions of downloads, then, you know, that would add up and help reduce any more further climate change problems.
And you can monetize it. With that many users, you could monetize it.
Yeah. And then I also thought, like, as I was writing it, I thought, you know, it would read like your garbage company's charge, and it could maybe teach you how to switch to composting to reduce having to use the garbage company, for example. Okay. And then I said integration because sustainability and modern technology are conflicting, because the materials it takes to build our modern technology has a substantial effect on the environment, and nobody's going to be getting rid of these electronics anytime soon. So being able to use the electronics to reduce in other areas of your life was where I saw the integration there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. For conceptual blending, I was, you know, a real estate agent in Colorado before I moved, and I sometimes would be in like more of a, I don't want to say rural, but not as super like suburban area with houses, and sometimes I would get worried about like what could happen, because I'm always kind of thinking about the worst possible situation. So yeah. It's like a little key fob device that had some buttons, and it would connect to your phone. So if you were able to use your phone, you could push the button, and like a local authority, primarily like a 911 dispatch type position, would respond via text in case you weren't able to use your phone or be able to speak. And then you could describe what was going on through text, or if you couldn't talk, you could hit one button or another button, or maybe hit the button twice, saying you couldn't talk. But it would also push out your location, so that if you were stuck somewhere where you didn't have access to your phone, or even if your phone was dead, it would push out your location and help get you like local authorities there. But then I was thinking more, it could work for anybody. You could give it to your children when they go out, for example, when they hit 21, you could use it for that. Or if they're out, I don't know, camping or something with other people. Yep. So for that, it was conceptual blending of GPS like signals with like key fob devices. And then for transfer, this one took me quite some time. But I know a lot of people, I think it was you guys I told last week that, you know, I read somewhere that somebody could have the cure for cancer in their head, but you would never know because they couldn't afford college.
Yeah.
And then allowing more students to get into school, we could do it on like a tiered income-based system, like low-income housing is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it would still be like the same guidelines of the area. And then what else I wrote on that one? Yeah, so it would be like a tiered income. They would have to fill out additional paperwork, of course, and see if they qualify. But it would allow more students to go to school without being in so much debt afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like all three of your ideas. The key fob one is really interesting. I like that. It's kind of like the button, and I can't get up. You know?
I know. I thought about that when I was writing, and I was like, that's kind of what it's like. But see, that's for. I was thinking. I thought of a difference in that one. That was more for like. It didn't push out your location. That's what it was.
Right.
This is something that would send an exact like GPS coordinate location.
Yeah. So let's talk about conceptual blending for just a second, because I think that my understanding of conceptual blending and your understanding of conceptual blending is a little bit different.
Okay.
So the way that I read the conceptual blending is that, you know, it's taking the past experiences, disparate situations, right? And there's words associated and ideas associated with each of them. And then you say something new and it conjures up, you know, these two different paths that kind of get connected with this, you know, they called it blended space, right?
Right.
The whole idea of the surgeon is a butcher, right?
Uh-huh.
So you think about a surgeon, you know, a surgeon is very good at you know, operating. A butcher is good at cutting meat, right? But when you say it together, you know, it creates this thing and it says, oh, this doctor's really bad. It's really, that's a completely new meaning generated out of these two separate ideas versus just putting two ideas together. Am I making any sense?
Yeah, and I get it. And I guess I'm still putting, see, I struggled between this one and integration because everything, especially in Tuesday's assignment, because everything I was thinking of for integration, I was like, well, no, that's more conceptual blending than it is integration. So for conceptual blending, I was going with like holding two different ideas, they may be similar or opposing, and then fusing them together into one that creates its own entity, and you can see similar characteristics of each, but it's not either or. See, it's so much like conceptual blending, or so much like integration to me.
I know. Well, see, I think that's exactly what that is that's the integration. I think what conceptual blending is. So when I wrote that paper, I used a couple different examples. So one of them was like, you know, I've been watching all this impeachment stuff, and the House managers were saying, you know, where is John McCain today, right? Where's John McCain? So we know John McCain's dead, right? But what it does is it conjures up kind of these two ideas. The first idea is that John McCain was this rebel that would stand up to people, even if they were part of his party, right? And it also conjures up this idea that we really need someone like him right now, right? And so the blended concept is which one of you is going to stand up to this stand up for right, even if it goes against your party, right? So taking these ideas, or by saying something, it creates two different paths, and then you know, what you're saying creates this new idea. Where integration is taking, you know, one idea and smashing it with another. Well, not really smashing it with another. Looking at a problem, taking two paths to that problem, taking the good from both putting them together and trying to eliminate the bad. That's what I got.
It's so funny that you say that, because in Tuesday's assignment, that's originally how I looked at integration.
Yeah.
And listen, I just want to read you what he wrote me on that assignment, because it was interesting and I understood in a different way. Okay. So I don't know if it was just what I wrote that made it seem like I didn't understand it, but he said it was the hardest one to grasp. And then here's the example he provided for me for integration. This is word for word. He says, the concentration area of sustainability was born due to an ultimate unavoidable tension between two competing realities. Everything alive needs to use resources in order to survive, and the use always depletes the resources. The tension then shows up in some sort of environmental crisis that needs to be addressed intelligently. Notice that this tension isn't going away, the conflict is real. So sustainability majors have to learn to creatively manage this tension at multiple levels, political, scientific, psychological, etc. There is no solution to the problem in the sense of making the problem go away. There is only a least worst way of managing the demands that mitigates the impacts of the inherent dilemma. The least worst, or this least worst solution adds value when compared to alternative ways of doing things. So when I was making my integration one, and that's why sustainability stuck in my head actually was because of that response. But when I was making my integration one, I was trying to think of what problem exists that also has somewhat of solutions, but not a solution that's ever going to make it go away.
Yeah.
And then when I was thinking of conceptual blending, like the Lion Man really stuck in my head, and the way he, I don't know, Turner, I think his first name was Mark, but whatever. He had presented it as, it's not a lion and it's not a man, it's a lion man. So that's what is stuck in my head as far as conceptual blending. What can I use that's still both these things, but it's not at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah. I now the way that he responded to integration, I get that. That makes sense,
Yeah.
right? It's really, there are opposing ideas, right? One is, well, you want sustainability, but on the other hand, you need to use this stuff, right? Those are very opposing, conflicting ideas, right?
Right.
And you're not ever going to really come up with, a solution, but maybe an optimal way to deal with these opposing ideas. Mm-hmm. So that's great. The conceptual blending, I'm still having a hard time with, right? So Lion Man, right? So, okay, so let's use that one. So you think of a lion and you think of a man, and it's not, at least from what I'm getting of it, it's not, a lion and a man put together. It's this whole new thing, right? This whole new thought that's come up, So, okay, so I get that. So here's my question. My question is, do we take an idea and then have to explain all three of them, or do we have to just find one and then find the one integrative thinking approach that is most applicable, and then really go from there?
Do you mean based on template? Let me go
back. Yeah, from the pitch. Or
so my understanding, so we each pitch our two.
Yep.
Put a little summary there on how they're each solving a problem. I feel like that's what we just did. And then decide together which of the 6 pitch, which we've pitched for. I mean, knowing that we have the knowledge of Jessica's, I struggled with hers a little bit because I feel like there's just so many fitness apps that it was very saturated.
Yeah, Noom is exactly what she kind of described. I don't know if you're familiar with Noom at all.
I am, and I actually almost went to go do that, but then it was like $70 a month, and I was
it's ridiculous.
But
yeah.
Okay, so it says pick one of the 6. How does it best exemplify creatively or unexpectedly solving a problem? So I guess where it gets confused is because you and Jessica interpreted the assignment differently and came up with one problem, and I interpreted it and came up with three. That I don't know how we choose which it best exemplifies, or if we just choose one and how it best exemplifies that particular concept.
Right, right.
But anyways, that will be the one we pitch. Let's see, discuss what are the existing areas of expertise, could be a reality.
See, I can tell you, I already know which one I like. I like your idea of a sustainability app, although again, I'm a tech geek. I mean, I'm not a programmer, but I'm in that world, so I understand.
Right.
Apps are actually kind of on the way out.
Are they?
They are, yeah. Because I mean, think about it. How often? I should say they're on a big decline. Over 99% of new apps fail. It's worse than restaurants. It's crazy.
But is that because something out there in the market already exists and they're already trying to compete with a larger, more well-known app, or is it just because of programming potentially, or just because nobody wants it?
Right. Well, let me ask you this: Do you buy from Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you use their app?
Yep.
You use the app?
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever I buy from, I don't even have the Amazon app. I just go to Amazon.com. And
I guess for me, primarily because I just got a new computer, so I didn't have one for so long. So I was doing everything on my phone.
Okay.
But I would still use the app comparatively because I like to do it like in the car, for example. I like to look down at it. If I'm just sitting on the couch, I don't always want my computer on my legs or something. So yeah, I primarily use the app when I buy from Amazon. If not, 100% use the app.
The only thing I use apps for are like financial for financial services where you have to log in each time for security reasons. But anyway, so the reason I like your sustainability idea is because I don't think it necessarily needs to be an app as much as it could be a mobile web application, meaning that you go online and you put in all of this information, and then basically what it does is it sends you notifications, right, about the way that you're interacting with the environment and doing your part based on, you know, the model that you set up in the beginning. And then you could also go in and look at it on a periodic basis and see how you're doing. You know, did I reduce my carbon footprint this month? Did I produce less non-recyclable garbage, as an example? I love the idea. That would be the one I would vote for.
Okay. I mean, that's the one that came to me first, and as I was writing it, I really enjoyed where it could go, and you being in that world of technology would be much more helpful.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, you know, we're students at a very liberal university, and so something like sustainability is going to be a big hit.
I know I didn't even know they had a concentration in this, or at least I didn't remember that they did.
Yeah. I'm taking over the summer because I just kind of keep taking them. I'm at my age, you don't need a break. So I took a sustainability class over the summer called America's National Parks. And as part of the sustainability class. But it also covers, I think it covers my historical awareness requirement.
Listen, that would be cool.
It is. Yeah, you should look at it if you're looking for classes, because you're an interdisciplinary major with business and what was the other one?
Project management.
Project management, yeah. So you've got probably the same requirements that I do. So, all right. So do you like that idea? I think we could take that idea and flesh it out.
Okay. All right. So All right, so we can put, okay. So of the 6, whatever, how does it best exemplify creatively or unexpectedly solving a problem, i.e., how does it creatively combine ideas from different contexts together to produce something new? This will be the one we pitch. Harper, you cannot have that.
So here's what I would say. I would say that what you've done is you've taken a really big problem and made it very, very manageable, a very small type of
Right.
solution. It
And
shows,
relatable, I feel like.
yep, and it shows you like the individual impact that you're having on this bigger problem, right? Which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that we're good there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
My daughter agrees.
No, she's good.
She's
Good.
over there saying, yeah.
Well, she's been in every meeting, so she's up to speed on exactly what we're
I
doing.
know.
So what about what already exists? Like, how do we address that?
What areas, discuss what already exists. What already existing areas of expertise would need to be drawn on?
All right.
So it would be like
environmental sciences, right? Environmental sciences and technology.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is where I got my 2 combinations.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there would be, okay, well, let's continue to read the question. What kinds of people trained in what kinds of knowledge, still the same, would need to make this idea a reality? I still feel like it's environmental sciences and technology.
Yeah, I agree.
What would you have to master from the old ways of thinking and doing things in order to make sure that your deliverable is effective? Innovation always depends on previously existing skills, knowledge, and training. Creativity depends on familiarity with what already exists, even as it has an eye on what could be.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what aggregation is? So hotels.com.
No.
Hotels.com. Okay. What hotels.com does is it goes out to all of the different hotels, right? And brings them together into a single application. Okay.
Right.
And then allows you to see all of them through one thing. I think that's something that we could use here, right? So you've got the way that you've got the way that you use gasoline. You've got the way that you use garbage. You've got the way that you buy groceries with plastics and stuff. You've got all of these different things, right? So what your solution does is it brings the knowledge of knowing that, you should be, of how you should most effectively use gasoline, along with how you should most effectively buy your groceries and all this stuff into a single solution. Right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And we could use other ideas like a hotels.com to say, or an Expedia or whatever, that says what they've done is they've taken many different things and put it into one manageable solution. We're essentially doing the same thing, but in a completely different context, because it's not like we're looking to buy. We're actually looking on how to how to do them, be sustainable with each one. Does that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And that almost is kind of interesting because it almost kind of works for the concept of transfer as well.
Transfer is big in this one, right? I think it's well, okay, so that's my other question, right? Do we need to explain all 3 different ones, how they apply to this idea? Or, well, I guess we do in some ways.
I feel like if we don't in the future that's going to come up, because like I said, it's a little different for our group, being is that I thought of this assignment differently than you and Jessica did, for example.
Yeah.
And whereas you chose one and explained the 3 different concepts, and I chose 3, 1 for each concept. So I feel like, I mean, did he respond to you and say that he was looking for 3 different ideas originally?
Yeah. So what he told me was, he says he understands that what I'm saying that he's asking for is a huge thing, right? How do people come up with 3 unique ideas in one sitting? He goes, I recognize that. He goes, I put that out there so people that would normally look for a way to get through this in 5 minutes have to really think about it. He goes, but what you did, he goes, even though you did 1, he goes, you showed the thinking, right?
Yeah,
He goes,
okay.
by having other people have to do 3, he goes, I forced him to really think about it.
Okay, so he was looking for 3.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
Okay, so with that being said, then when he talks about picking which one best exemplifies solving a problem, I would assume we only have to elaborate on which concept that problem was supported in, right? Not to say that this idea doesn't fall into these concepts, because at some point I feel like all of these concepts contribute to an advanced level of critical thinking anyhow.
Okay.
And thinking of each one. But I think for now, we can just focus on integration, right?
Yeah, I'm reading ahead here. In lieu of producing a clear final summary of the product you picked, you should discuss the points, the problem context that motivated the need for the solution, right? So to me, that's trying to find an individual way to help solve a big problem.
Right.
Can't spell this morning. Okay, a description of your idea. I think we've got that, right? That it's some sort of web application, whether it's, and I think let's use that term, because I think that'll distinguish us. Having been through some of these classes before, everybody comes up with an app idea.
Yeah, I know. And I kind of like, after I had read Jessica before, I put that down too, and I was like, God, it sounds like I'm just taking the same thing and putting it in a different context.
That's all right. That's exactly what we're going to do. I think we just call it a web application.
Got it.
Right? Because, and then we'll sound really smart and, well, it's not just an app, it's mobile web and it's all these other things. And, okay, so web application, an account of how it demonstrates a creative combination of previous elements to solve a problem, which I think we've done.
Yeah, like the understanding of how to use the best gas, or how to use less plastic grocery shopping and applying it at a personal level.
Right. Okay, so we've got that. And then an account of already existing expertise that you would need to make this idea a reality. So we got that, right? So environmental sciences, technology, and then knowing that there's already these aggregation tools out there that take all of these different things and bring it into one, but ours is very unique because it's not going to be buying, it's going to be related to conservation and sustainability.
Got it. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Here you might want to come up with similar wording for your idea.
And I think that's what prompted me to realize that this is going to be the group project, so that we all kind of have the same idea of what we're talking about. But I feel like we understand what we're doing, and the questions we just asked above or answered above too bring that wording together.
Okay, here's the words that I come up with. You tell me if you agree.
Gotcha.
This is a conservation and sustainability aggregator and tracker, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
things, brings it together. It allows you to track all of these different things. Okay, so all right, conservation and sustainability aggregator
And tracker.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
Is there anything else about class content that you'd like to discuss?
I don't know. This week was tough for me, if I'm being totally honest. Like, I even struggled with Tuesday's assignment because, like, I get the concepts. I understand them. I understand how they work. It was trying to find recent examples, and he says in Tuesday's assignment he wants to get across that they're everywhere, but I think until my Tuesday assignment was graded, I was struggling with the difference, especially between integration and concept blending, because it felt the same to me.
Yeah.
So that's what was really getting on me.
Yep.
But this week was interesting.
It was. I think that what I'm probably going to talk about here on number 6 is that we talked about just what you described, right? That that there's still, not a real clear difference between integration and conceptual blending. And then I'm also going to put here that that we don't really understand whether we should be looking at all 3 ideas as it applies to our product or idea, or if we really take just one concept and really dig deep. And then we'll let him decide. We'll let him answer. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're getting pretty close here. Discuss when your next meeting time will be and who coordinate that meeting. Do you want to try to do next Saturday again?
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I mean, I guess I'll just text Jessica.
Okay.
Probably,
So,
I mean, I don't know, I'll text her and just wait till she responds, but.
Do we want to try to go back to 11?
Yeah, I mean, I have Saturdays off for that reason, so, and I can set it up, unless you wanna give it a shot.
No, I'll let you do it. I do them all the time. Saturday at 11.
Yep.
Okay, and Taylor's going to coordinate. All right. And then the next 2 are what we we normally do. So I've got February 8th at 9:15, and that was attended by Mike and Taylor.
Yep. For about 45 minutes, it looks like.
45 minutes.
Well, 40 minutes, yeah.
I'm saying 45. I'm going to say 9:15 to 10.
Sounds good. Close enough, right?
Yep. Hey, I love your idea. I think it's a good one. It's something that we can work with, that is going to be fun to play with. And, we're going to be able to apply, even if he says you got to apply different things, I think we can do it.
Yeah. I know, honey.
All right. She's getting restless, so I'll let you go.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. It was good meeting. Thanks, Mike.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.